Please, I've just come back to my flat and the door was locked, so I crawled through the window and my flatmate's covered in blood in the bathroom.
Is she breathing?
I don't know, I can't look, I'm sorry.
Okay, try and stay calm.
Alice! Oh my God, she's dead.
Alice Ruggles was a bright, kind, and ambitious young woman whose life was tragically cut short in an act of obsession and murder. Her story is one of love turned to horror, a case of stalking that escalated to fatal violence. The tragic circumstances surrounding her death led to a national conversation about stalking, coercive control, and the failure of authorities to intervene before it was too late. Her family, devastated by the loss, has since dedicated their efforts to raising awareness and changing policies regarding stalking-related crimes. This is the full story of Alice Ruggles. Alice Ruggles, born on December the 24th, 1991 in Leicestershire, England, Alice was the youngest of 4 siblings. She grew up in a loving family, known for her infectious laughter, sharp wit, and caring nature. Her friends and family described her as someone who was always there for others, a person who could brighten any room with her presence. She attended Leicester High School for Girls before moving on to study product design engineering at Northumbria University in Newcastle. After graduating, she began working as a customer service representative for Sky, where she was well liked and respected for her professionalism and warm personality. Alice's life took a dark turn when she met Trimaan Dhillon, a British Army officer serving with the Royal Engineers. The two connected through mutual friends, and at first their relationship seemed like any other. Dhillon was charming, attentive, and appeared to be deeply in love with Alice. However, as time passed, it became clear that his affection was rooted in control rather than care. Friends and family started noticing changes in Alice's behavior. She became quieter, more anxious, and less like her usual vibrant self. As the relationship progressed, Dhillon's behavior became increasingly possessive and controlling. He would constantly check Alice's phone, monitor her social media accounts, and demand updates on her whereabouts. He pressured her to cut ties with male friends and even questioned her interactions with colleagues. His jealousy knew no bounds, and his controlling behavior became emotionally abusive. Alice, who had always been independent and strong-willed, started to feel trapped in a relationship that was suffocating her.
Alice, please. Please, I can't do it.
Eventually, Alice found the courage to end things with Dhillon. However, breaking up with a controlling partner is never simple. Dhillon refused to accept the breakup and began harassing Alice incessantly. He bombarded her with messages, ranging from desperate pleas for reconciliation to veiled threats and emotional manipulation. He sent gifts, flowers, and even handwritten letters, all attempts to reassert his presence in her life. He would drive from Edinburgh, where he was stationed, to Newcastle just to watch her, leaving her feeling constantly on edge.
Alice, please call me back. Please. I just want to speak to you. There's nothing else. I don't even know if you're getting these voice messages, but please, can you call me back? Thank you.
Alice's fear grew when she realized that blocking Dhillon's number did not stop his attempts to contact her. He would use different numbers, social media accounts, and even friends' phones to reach her. He hacked into her social media accounts, monitoring her activity and making it clear that he was watching her every move. This relentless harassment left Alice emotionally drained and terrified for her safety. She confided in her friends and family, who urged her to report him to the police. Early in 2016, Alice began a brief relationship with Dhillon, a soldier serving with 2 Scots based at Penicuik, south of Edinburgh. Alice had been introduced to him online by a mutual friend while he was serving in a non-combat role in Afghanistan, and they met in January 2016, spending time in Newcastle and Edinburgh before he returned to Afghanistan.
After we spoke and he didn't want to speak, well, he didn't want to call me again, so that's why I decided to come down and just give you flowers and chocolates. Now I'm on my way back. If you want to take it, you can take it. If you want to bin it, you can bin it. It's completely up to you. I just wanted to do something just to say I'm sorry and show that I really am sorry.
Even then, he was already exhibiting controlling behavior, always expecting Alice to be available to answer his calls or making snide comments about her appearance in order to undermine her confidence. After he returned in April, he started turning up unexpectedly when Alice was socializing with friends, persuading her to go off with him instead, trying to isolate her and make her dependent on him.
Yeah, that's the least I could have done. But I know you're not going to come out in front of me and speak to me, so that's why I left it there. If you ever want to speak to me, it'll be good. If you don't, there's nothing I can do. Anyways, sorry for waking you up. Hope you have a good night's sleep. Bye.
The cumulative effect of his behavior on Alice was marked. She fell out with her housemates and moved to a new ground-floor flat in Gateshead, shared with her work colleague. In a few months, from a happy, outgoing, vibrant person, she had become miserable and lonely. Her work was adversely affected. Her family noticed how withdrawn and unhappy Alice was during a family holiday. It was then that Alice was contacted by another woman, whom Dhillon had befriended on a dating website. At learning this, Alice ended the relationship. Dhillon was not prepared to accept no for an answer. In the ensuing weeks, he bombarded Alice with phone calls, voice messages, texts, and emails. Some were pleading, others aggressive and threatening. He also contacted her family and friends in an effort to persuade Alice to go back to him. During August and September, Alice received a torrent of messages, texts, emails, and voicemails from different phones and sources. In some of them, he professed undying love. In others, he used emotional blackmail, crying down the phone or threatening to kill himself. Dhillon had become obsessed with Alice. At first, she tried her best to be pleasant. However, when she began to ignore his messages, he contacted family and friends, trying to get them to influence her. He had also hacked into her social media, threatening to release compromising photographs he had secretly taken and reading messages in order to know her whereabouts. In September, he found out that Alice had begun a new relationship and set out to destroy it by contacting her new partner directly, painting a false picture and trying to deceive him into thinking that she was two-timing. Dhillon would repeatedly arrive at Alice's property and ring the doorbell and hide when she looked through the spy hole. On one occasion, he climbed the fence into the back garden and knocked on Alice's ground floor window as she lay in bed. When opening the curtains, she saw flowers and chocolates on the windowsill and Dhillon backing off. As he drove back to Edinburgh, he left a chilling phone message, repeating that he didn't want to kill her and wouldn't kill her.
Evening, Northumbria Police. Chris speaking. How can I help you?
Hi there. I just need a bit of advice, really, more than anything. So I split up with my boyfriend about 3 months ago. Since then, I know that he's hacked into my Facebook and also my phone. He's been sending me a lot of messages, even though I've asked him not to contact me. And basically, like, just messaging my friends and things. And then tonight, he's I had a knock at my door. And he'd sent me a message saying I've been in the garden since 5. I had a knock at my door, and then when I went and looked, I've got like a little, the thing that you can look through.
Alice at last contacted the police, who were initially sympathetic and reassuring that he could be stopped. They crimed the incident as harassment and issued a police information notice PIN. 7 days later, Alice contacted the police again to report he was still harassing her, but the response was less sympathetic. It was not recorded as linked to the previous crime, and no action was taken. Alice was distraught as she now believed that nothing could or would be done to stop his stalking. A further 5 days after this, Dhillon broke into her flat and brutally murdered her.
And there was no one there, and then it happened again 2 or 3 times. And then he's come round the back, knocked on my bedroom window at the back of my flat, it's a ground floor flat. He's been outside and he's like left some flowers and chocolates on the outside windowsill, and he walked off. He's not done anything, but I'm concerned. I've been putting off, my friends have been telling me to call the police. I've been putting it off, but I just feel a bit shaken up tonight. So
well, it can be classed as harassment,
Yeah.
which is a crime.
Yeah.
If you know any contact from him, there's a number of things you can do.
Yeah.
You could go to a solicitor and take out an injunction,
Yeah.
keep him away from you,
Yeah.
or report it directly to the police now, and we can issue him with a PIN notice, which means if he ever comes near you again or contacts you again, he'll be arrested.
At sentencing, the judge remarked, "You went to her flat. She was alone that night, and what you did will have terrified her. You knocked on the door on 3 separate occasions, each time slipping away, and then you climbed over the wall into the rear yard and knocked on a bedroom window as Miss Ruggles lay in her bed. She looked out of the window to see you backing off, having left flowers and chocolates. As might be expected, she was shaken and scared by that incident. You then left a voicemail message telling her repeatedly that you did not intend to kill her. You were harassing her. You were stalking her. You were destroying her."
So which would you prefer?
Can I try that option, please?
Yeah, of course you can. I'll get your name, please.
Oh, sorry. It's Alice.
And what's he called?
Well, his name's Harry Dhillon, but he's got like a Sikh name, which is Trimaan. He lives in Edinburgh.
He lives in Edinburgh.
Yeah. So he's like driven down.
So he's constantly contacting you by phone or text or...
Yeah, well, I've blocked his number. We've got 2 phones. I've blocked both numbers. So he's been sending me Gmail messages. I haven't blocked him off Gmail because I don't want him to start emailing my work email. Then he's also made a fake Snapchat account to try and contact me on.
That night, Alice called 101. As is evident from the recording of the phone call, which is in the public domain, she was calm and polite, almost apologetic. The officer explained that she could go to a solicitor and take out an injunction, or that the police could issue a police information notice. PIN, which means if he ever comes near you again or contacts you again, he'll be arrested. So which would you prefer? To which Alice can be heard replying, "Can I try that option, please?"
I will need to get the Edinburgh police to go and serve him with a PIN notice.
Okay.
But, well, what I'm going to do, we'll see if we can make an appointment to come and see you.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
We'll get the details.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll sort it out. We'll get it sorted for you.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, Alice, thank you then. Thanks, bye.
Alice believed herself to be protected and had regained her old self-confidence. Actually, a PIN notice carries no legal weight. They are no longer used in stalking cases. Meanwhile, the police warning was communicated to Dhillon in his barracks by his army superiors on 3 October. Colleagues, friends, and even a general practitioner had also told him not to contact Alice. Despite all this, he immediately sent her a parcel containing a letter and some other items. The letter complained that she had called the police on him and that he was now facing the repercussions, including that they had shut him in a room and taken away his laptop, iPad, and phone, all of which was a lie. He went on, "I'm in a lot of tea now, but hope you feel happy now. I'm sending you everything I have that reminds me of you as you belong to another man. Wishing you two a happy life. I will never come in your life again." Alice received the parcel and rang the police again to report it, but this time she was made to feel that arresting Dhillon was not a possible option and that she was wasting police time. There is no recording of this phone call.
Sorry, good evening, Northumbria Police. Jeff speaking. How can I help?
Hi there. I've been in touch with the police. Somebody's been issued with a PIN so that they can't contact me. However, I've had a letter off them.
So you're reporting like the breach of the PIN?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it from?
Harry Dhillon.
What was the content of the letter? Was he...
So pictures of me and him, because he's my ex-boyfriend too, like a notebook that I sent him when we were together and a letter.
Okay, what was the nature of it? Was it like threatening or was it harassing? Or?
No, not threatening. It's just saying that he knows I called the police on him and he's had everything confiscated and all he has to himself is a pen and paper and an iPod, and explaining why he came down last Friday. And then it says at the bottom he won't contact me, this will be the last I hear from him, but he's said that a lot of times, and he never does seem to stop.
So do you want to call back to discuss this?
Yeah, what's usually what happens with it?
Okay, well, I'll let them know you want someone to contact you back, just discuss what can be done.
Okay. Will it be the police officer that's been dealing with my case?
I can't guarantee who it'll be. I'll let them know you've got your pin notice there, so it's going into a breach of it.
Okay.
Is there best time to phone you back?
Any time really will be fine.
Right. Okay, nice. I'll let them know you want someone to contact you.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, bye.
Thanks, bye.
All of a sudden, Alice realized that she was not being protected at all. She tried to make sure she was driven home to the front door each day by a colleague and immediately double-locked it. On the 10th of October, unbeknown to Alice, Dhillon drove down to her house after dark, climbed into the back garden and photographed the rear window. Dhillon drove down again from Edinburgh and parked near to Alice's flat, waiting for her to return home. While waiting, he was messaging another woman, trying to arrange a meeting later that evening back up in Scotland. Around 6 p.m., Dhillon climbed in again over the back wall and this time forced his way in through a window. He picked up a sharp kitchen knife and cornered Alice in the bathroom. 20 minutes later, she was lying dead there. Her flatmate Maxine returned shortly afterwards and found her.
Alice! Alice! Oh my God, she's dead!
Thanks to Maxine's information and swift action by Northumbria police, Dhillon was arrested back at his barracks just a few hours later as he was attempting to climb out over the wall. He initially denied all knowledge of Alice's death, but overwhelming evidence quickly placed him at the scene. In court, Dhillon was not only unemotional, but also exhibited breathtaking arrogance. He denied murder and tried to argue that Alice had attacked him, but the jury rejected this and he was sentenced to life imprisonment for Alice's murder, with a minimum tariff of 22 years. Alice did not realize the very real danger that she was in, nor was this fully recognized by her family, her friends, or the police. Sadly, Alice's story is not a one-off. It is a typical story illustrating the link between coercive behavior and stalking. During their brief relationship, Alice had always thought that Dhillon had looked out for her, but the reality was that he had always been trying to manipulate her as well as her friends and family. He made negative comments about her personal appearance to undermine her confidence. He stoked up minor disagreements between her friends and persuaded her that she was better without them. He sent messages to her mother telling her what a horrible person her daughter was. All the time he emphasized to Alice herself how much he cared about her and would look after her.
And yet the door was open.
No, it wasn't open, it was locked, and I've crawled through my window that was open in the back door, and she's lying covered in blood. She's blue.
Can you have a look and see if she's breathing for the ambulance?
She's not.
She's not breathing.
No, she looks, no.
Where's the blood from?
It's everywhere, I don't know. Her leg looks broken, everything.
Say that again, sorry.
Her leg looks broken, everything, like I don't know. Alice!
In a few short months, Alice had lost much of her self-confidence and felt she had no friends left. Once she split from him and started to take control again, she began to return to her old self. This was the point where Trimaan Dhillon's coercive control turned to stalking. During the trial, the prosecution presented damning evidence, including CCTV footage of Dhillon near Alice's home on the night of the murder, forensic evidence linking him to the crime scene, and a disturbing history of obsessive behavior. Dhillon, in a desperate attempt to avoid responsibility, claimed that Alice had inflicted her own wounds, a statement that was both absurd and deeply insulting to her grieving family. The jury saw through his lies, and in April 2017, he was found guilty of Alice's murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum term of 22 years before being eligible for parole. For Alice's family, the verdict brought some measure of justice but did little to ease their grief. The loss of Alice was unbearable, and the knowledge that she had sought help before her death but was not adequately protected only deepened the pain. Determined to prevent other families from experiencing the same tragedy, Alice's parents established the Alice Ruggles Trust, an organization dedicated to raising awareness about stalking and coercive control. One of the major issues that Alice's case brought to light was the lack of urgency with which stalking cases were handled. Despite reporting her fears to the police, Alice's concerns were downplayed, leading to a devastating outcome. Stalking is often misunderstood as a minor nuisance rather than a serious threat, but cases like Alice's prove that it can escalate to deadly violence. The Alice Ruggles Trust has since been instrumental in pushing for better police training and legal reforms to ensure that victims are taken seriously and receive the protection they need. Beyond policy changes, Alice's story has resonated deeply with the public. It serves as a tragic reminder of the dangers of coercive control and the warning signs of an abusive relationship. Her legacy continues through the work of her family and the Trust, which tirelessly fights to ensure that no one else has to suffer the same fate.